I thought that was good.
They just
people know who that is.
They did terrible with Ein.
Well, wait, no, they didn't do Ein.
Well, no, they introduced it at the end of the first season before they got canceled.
No, that's Ed. They had Ein already in there. The dog, yeah.
Ed, that's who it was.
Yeah,
Ed.
and then it ended up getting canceled anyways. Yeah,
because it was garbage.
It wasn't garbage.
It
wasn't garbage. It was
garbage.
How far did you watch it?
It was good. So I didn't watch anything past the first episode because I wasn't really that interested.
It's okay.
I wasn't. First of all, when I heard it was coming out, so you already know, bro. With me in live actions, I've been disappointed way too many times.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Z,
but Netflix.
Last Airbender.
This was Netflix's first attempt at a decent live action.
They did good,
and they killed it with The Witcher.
That's what I mean. They did in Cowboy Bebop. They had really good. Like a lot of people were going for nostalgia. Mm-hmm. You know, they said Jet did really good.
Jet was very good.
They had
Spike Spiegel was okay.
He was good enough.
He was good enough.
But like
Faye did really good.
They strayed. They kind of strayed away from her actual personality. Which, okay, it is what it is, different times, whatever.
No, you know what? She did okay.
Ed, absolutely not. When I saw that, I was like, I'm not watching this.
They didn't put Ed in there, though.
No, Ed was at the end. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I didn't get all the way through.
So
I can't be one to pick that shit.
The last episode at the end was after, I think it was after Spike's big fight with that silver-haired, white-hair guy, Vicious.
Yeah.
Or something happens, and he's laying face down on the sidewalk, and Ed shows up. And that's the end of the last episode of the season.
I don't understand how they would extend it out though, because it's
because
the series
too much.
The series tried to implement as much as they could with all the characters, but how do you make a second season off of something when it was only one season? Well,
that's what I mean. Like, and it's like we talked before. I get it when it comes to like movie design and stuff like that. You know, you only have so much time, and you can only squeeze in so much. But that was why Cowboy Bebop wasn't a movie; it was an anime.
Most of them are
episodic. Well, I mean, it practically was a movie, but it was episodic. It gave you enough time to get introduced to the people. Mm-hmm. And so with this, it felt like they kind of jumped off instead of starting in, you know, the shallow waters. They jumped off into the deep end because of all the rest of us are kind of know it. Yeah. But they rushed.
For the hardcore fans, they couldn't find a way to catch up. And I mean, but it was in production pre-pandemic.
Yeah, and they got pushed back.
Yeah, because of everything that was happening with all that. But that's also what they did with The Witcher. And did you watch the first season?
I still have not watched The Witcher. I'm not a fan of them. I'm sorry. I've heard good things. I've heard raving reviews about The Witcher.
It's so good. And season 2 just came out like 2 or 3 days ago. Fantastic.
And of course, it's got my boy Superman in it.
Yeah, Henry Cavill is
I'm like,
very, very good.
I should watch it, but then I think about it, I'm like,
you should.
It's just it's like Blade, but not Blade. That's how it feels to me. It's like Blade with superpowers.
Well, you never actually played it though, did you?
No, I watched you play it though.
Yeah, The Witcher.
I watched you play it, and he has his little dual swords.
Yeah,
you can switch between your little arcana.
Yeah, because you have the abilities and stuff like that.
Of course, you have damsels in distress.
No, it's more or less because the whole concept of how The Witcher is that humans, the world was getting overrun by monsters, and humans needed a way to combat that, so they hired mages to kidnap children and raise them as archmages, pretty much like humans with no emotion, no soul, no nothing. That is not Blade. That is not Blade. Yes. Blade is
Whistler just didn't kidnap Blade.
Blade is a night walker because he's half vampire. Daywalker. He's half vampire and half human.
And he carries a sword.
Speaking of,
he kills monsters.
Speaking of, did you see the new trailer for Morbius?
Oh, the Marvel dude.
Jared, you haven't seen? Yeah, you haven't seen.
Why does that sound familiar?
You remember the old Spider-Man?
Yes, the dude with the fish, the fish tank on his head.
No, that's Mysterio.
Morbius
is the Spider-Man and is the vampire in Spider-Man.
Okay, it's the dude with the diamond on his head.
No.
Who's that?
You're gonna kill me. I should have showed you all this prior to, or should have done a reaction video.
Okay, so for all of you out there, I'm an X-Men fan. You want to come at me?
Still Marvel.
Yes, but Spider-Man.
Okay.
That's a Spider-Man.
You know who Daredevil is?
Yeah.
You know who Blade is?
Yes.
You know who Spider-Man is?
Yes.
Morbius, they're all in Hell's Kitchen. It's all the same thing. They're all in New York.
Yeah, see, I didn't know what Hell's Kitchen was until I watched the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Did you watch Daredevil on Netflix?
No, but the blind guy, the other, well, of course he's blind. No, I haven't watched that one.
With Charlie Cox is one of the best Daredevils I've probably ever seen.
If you saw this look this mofo was giving me,
it's driving me.
It's not my fault.
Crazy that you should know. You have a TV.
Time.
You have a TV.
Yes, and I maybe watch TV for like an hour a day.
Put it in the background while you're doing something.
I don't want to. Put these nuts in the background.
While I do something? What are they? I'm just going to put them on a fucking pedestal so they're just kind of lingering around?
I'll get them in Boston gold.
No,
You can just have them dangling.
You must be a fan of dragons.
Well,
Do you get it? You must be a fan of dragons. Do you know why?
no, I don't.
Because you be dragging these nuts across.
I knew it. Go away.
Yeah.
So with a lot of these live actions, it's just they take so long to get to stuff we already know.
Yes, that's true.
I don't want to watch it.
I give it the benefit of the doubt to try and let... We're thinking live actions as far as TV series. Some movies...
TVs and movies, though.
Movies, it's a hit or miss. Like,
because when you do an adaptation, though, here's the thing. When you... Daredevil was a cartoon or a comic book. Spiderman, comic book, Superman. Jack Snyder? What's his name? Rob Snyder?
Zack
Snyder.
Yeah.
He figured out how to bring the freaking Justice League to the big screen.
Okay, when he did Justice League, did you see the Snyder Cut?
I've heard the Snyder Cut was, 4 hours long?
Yeah, because it's the whole movie.
He puts in everything.
Yeah, it's the whole movie of everything, of the garbage one that got made.
Right.
Remastered that and then added on an extra movie with Darkseid in it because they never used Darkseid.
It didn't make any sense, right? I was like, so Superman's dead, but you didn't bring in the dude that...
They brought him back, and then they bring in Darkseid, and they actually
I heard they gave Cyborg a much larger background.
Huger background, with more of a open
that's
backstory.
Cool, but here's my thing. Even with the Justice League, you have to... Especially if you're trying to get a new generation, a new demographic, you have to go slow. Like... You know, like I said, Lynn's a businessman, so he understands it. Like, look, we have this much money, this amount of time. We only have the actors for these long. That all makes sense. But that's kind of the issue. Is a lot of these TV shows and comic books, we had years to grow up with these characters.
But you have to think of the fact
you're giving me 2 hours.
The reason why it's rushed is because if they went across the timeline of trying to do years worth of work, we would never have anything to watch.
To an extent, and I know what you mean, because human beings and contracts and blah,
the attention span of people, like say if somebody told you right now, what name your favorite something, TV show, game, anime, anything like that, if you had to think off the top of your head. Okay, so Escryed. If somebody told you that they're creating development right now, but it won't be ready until 2077, right? How old would you be at that time? So 2077.
That's what, 50 years from now?
It's about
roughly
I'd be
80 some odd years old. I might be dead.
You'd be 80 at that point. Do you feel like, and it would be the best, like they promise it would be guaranteed they'd have unlimited amount of budgets, make it the best thing possible.
No, it's not worth it. But that's like what we were going back before in the last episode.
Yes.
There's a difference when you do a cartoon or a comic, you don't have to adhere to the laws of the real world.
No, they pick apart and they're using bits and pieces. But I would rather
get a new voice actor for Gohan.
I would rather get an unrefined version of something to enjoy than have to wait until I'm in my 80s to watch a masterpiece.
No, and that's what I mean. I don't want a play-by-play. You know what I mean? Of stuff we've already saw.
Yeah.
You know, like you said with Cowboy Bebop, they kind of gave you some new stuff. They sprinkled in some variety.
They pretty much reused the same characters, the same storyline.
My thing is, if you're going to do Cowboy Bebop, use the characters, make it its own standalone movie.
Yeah, but then you get a bunch of fans that throw tantrums saying that it wasn't the original.
You're always going to, because you can't please everybody.
You're going to get the people that are happy with the basic shit that know nothing about Cowboy Bebop,
right?
And then the people that are diehard fans are like, why did you
that's what I mean. They're trying to please everybody, and you end up making garbage because you have nostalgia for the fans, but they only feel like it's nostalgia. They don't feel. And if you can't keep up with the episodic nature, because that's what made Cowboy Bebop so good, was the fact that you saw the episode, you had time to take it in, and then it was like, damn, wow, that Spike is deep. You know, it
really goes into you. You know what I mean? You have to build a connection to the character.
You don't. When I saw the episode with Ed, when they went back to the convent she grew up in and everything, bro, I almost shed a tear. It was just like you can't cover that in a 2-hour movie.
The compassionable filler episodes that they're able to use because they have time to create a side thing.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it's kind of out of the concept of the talking, but my boy showed me yesterday, Felix, that did you see that they're finally wrapping up Bleach? Yeah. Bleach took time off, and then they decided to make one final one.
I don't know how I feel.
But did you see the trailer for it?
No, I haven't got a chance.
It's everything that runs through, and the last boss is the King of Quincy's.
Ooh.
It looks really good.
Ooh.
And the animation style is completely changed.
Okay.
Because they've taken time because the show caught up with the manga. So now you can actually...
And it took so freaking long.
It took a long time. It took a long
time. Because we thought the anime was done years ago.
Yeah.
We thought they actually made a final episode of Bleach the anime.
And then they decided
and then brought it back, which is cool.
They stopped because they wanted to catch up. Like, I would hope they would do that with Berserk.
But that's what I mean. Like, when you have a cartoon, so like Pokemon, you have numerous Ash Ketchum voice actors.
Sorry, side note. Did you ever see the news video one of these two guys, or a guy and a girl making jokes about where they're doing Pokemon Go and a guy and a girl get in a fight in front of a neighbor's house, so the neighbor's recording it, and the girl's saying how this guy's not taking Pokemon seriously. She's interviewed. She goes, I went on Pokemon Go to try and find friends, and when I was trying to find friends to do a memorial right here, I figured I'd set a memorial so I could catch some wild Pokemon. And then this guy comes in and makes a mockery out of it because he thinks it's a joke. And then the guy's like, yeah, my boys told me about Pokemon Go and said that it was like Tinder. So, I thought I'd find up some fine women. And then I go to look and I'm like, oh, there's people battling here. And she's saying the names he was giving to the Pokemon were fucking like, there's a picture of Geodude. She goes, that guy's Geodude. He goes, yeah, that's Punchy Rock. And then you got Weedle in there. He goes, oh yeah, that's Party Wiener right there. Then Beedrill comes. She goes, and that's Beedrill. He goes, everybody knows that's Big Dick B.
Oh no!
And she goes, bees don't have dicks. It's a stinger. And they start fighting in the parking lot. I don't know why that just had me cracking up.
That sounds amazing, but that's what it be though. You can get new voice actors.
Yeah, you can.
But you still have the same cartoon, and that's because we've written this out. You know what I mean? There's no way like Inspector Gadget. Was it Zoids? There's no way Zoids would have been, and Zoids is kind of like
they made a live action of that.
What
I didn't see it, but yeah, they made a live action of that. What I'm noticing
is a lot of movies and TV shows, we're so focused on the now. How much money did it make now? That a lot of these movies are becoming cult classics after the fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When people have enough time to sit down, just like Pulp Fiction. I didn't watch Pulp Fiction until I was in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
You
catch up on the. It's funny, as I'd watched the very first Alien movie a couple weeks ago, just because I was bored, and it was on Hulu, and it's like watching how, and it was made like 19. You notice the difference between 1980s productions and 1990s productions, is because the acting is so horrible, but it's considered a classic because.
Good.
But back then, when you saw it the first time, you're like, holy shit!
It was amazing.
Seeing it in my older years, I'm like,
it didn't age well.
No, it doesn't.
But at the same time, you don't get acting like that anymore.
No,
you know what I mean. Like when I was watching old movie, Fiddler on the Roof. Back to the Future, Flight of the Navigator, Escape to Witch Mountain, Herbie, the old school.
You're throwing shit in my head. I don't even recall.
Right, bro. Like movies we have.
You're going way down the rabbit hole.
These were good.
We're not even
actors.
the same age at this point.
Right,
that's way fucking different.
These were good acting movies, and it's like those are one-offs.
So let's sum everything up. The reason why I wanted to talk about this episode today. Obviously, you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
but we're gonna discuss it. Spoiler alerts. For who haven't seen it, but this episode will be up next week, hopefully, correct?
Actually,
before the new
we're gonna be talking about Christmas.
Well, yeah, but
that's on Saturday, so this will be up hopefully this week.
We should be able to upload it by that time.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Spider-Man.
I'm gonna preface this. No, I haven't seen.
We're gonna go back and forth between.
Leave me alone. However, I have seen Into the Spider-Verse, and that's what this movie sounded like to me.
How far did you go into Tom Holland's Spider-Man? How far did you get into?
Right before Infinity War.
But did you watch Homecoming?
Homecoming, yes.
You watched the one with Mysterio?
Because Homecoming was when he met Tony Stark, right?
Homecoming's when he met Tony Stark, so was that in between?
Yeah, when he was getting like
up into it. Did you watch Far From Home? It's the most recent one where it had Mysterio.
I didn't see that one.
Okay, so you're pretty caught up, and then you saw Andrew Garfield's ones, the two, and then you saw Tobey Maguire.
I didn't like him. You liked him.
I did not like him. Andrew Garfield was very, very good as Spider-Man because the comedic part of what Spider-Man is supposed to be got brought in. But here's my issue: funny.
Everything now feels like Deadpool because Deadpool was willing to go rated R.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how it feels now.
Andrew Garfield brought in a good sense of to go off of old Spider-Man style to new. If you had to rate between your three, who would be your favorite?
Definitely Tobey
Maguire,
because he was the first.
He was the first,
yes.
You
have to give homage to respect to the first, the OGs. Tom Holland, and that's just because Tom Holland looks like I almost said Peter Griffin.
No, not Peter
He
Griffin.
looks like Peter Parker from the old 90s Spider-Man.
Yes, he
we
looks
used
like
to
a young
watch.
Peter Parker. He
looks like Peter Parker.
does not age. He did very, very, very well as this current Spider-Man.
Yes.
This would be as my ongoing. Yes, it's my. I don't know how to explain it. It's my favorite Spider-Man pushing forward.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield was the one that I enjoyed watching. At his time, enjoyed to watch the most. That would be my pick. But bringing them all together.
Yes.
Spoiler alert again.
Yes.
Bringing them all together. When I went and saw it in theaters, there were people either about to cry.
Yes.
It's just nostalgia. It's just the equivalent of knowing Tom Holland's in there and he's doing his best to try and fight off all these villains from multiverse material because he's trying to fix his fuck up of trying to, because Mysterio introduces him as Peter Parker to the whole world. So the whole world knows who he is, and it's fucking up his entire life. Goes to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange says, all right, I'll create a spell to revert it. And while he's doing it, he's like, you'll forget. Everybody will forget about you.
Everybody will forget.
And he's like, well, make sure MJ doesn't forget about me.
No.
Make sure my boy doesn't forget about
not
me.
how magic
Make sure
works.
you don't forget about me. And then every time Doctor Strange kept changing the spell, it was becoming too much. You couldn't contain it, and it broke.
Okay, so I saw a YouTube clip of that. Well, not of that, but something similar to that. Where it's like Doctor Strange talking about you can't manipulate time and this and that.
It's because he doesn't have the time stone anymore, because the time stone got taken away from Thanos.
Right.
So Thanos broke the time stone, so he found a way to not manipulate time, but to
Manipulate the dimension?
manipulate everybody's memory of something.
Yes.
So he was
'Cause
able
he's
to
using
alter,
magic.
He was able to alter that in some fourth wall breaking
Yeah.
thing. But I understand, not to go too deep into the movie, obviously, because you haven't
Go
had a chance to see
deep.
it, but
Go deep.
I'm just doing just the tip. Just the tip, just to give just a
Sad
little something in there.
Sad
But
face.
I see why Sony did it, because Spider-Man is Sony based.
Yes.
So you know how they weren't going to come out with a second and third Spider-Man because Sony got bought out, or Marvel MCU got bought out by Disney. Disney.
Well, Fox first.
Fox owned it.
And
Fox
then
sold
Disney bought Fox.
Yeah, so which is the reason why all
yeah.
the Daredevils,
Yep.
or Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, all that shit got stripped.
Fantastic
from Netflix.
Four.
Yeah,
That's
it all-
why we haven't gotten a new Fantastic
it all
Four,
got
because
stripped.
Fox owns that.
Sony was the last piece from Spider-Man, and Sony
Yes.
did not want to give up Spider-Man or Venom.
And that's why we got separate Spider-Man and Venom movies,
So
but not together.
what they're doing now, which another
They're
spoiler,
losing their rights.
yeah, they got Spider-Man out by introducing the multiverse thing, so where there will be no more Avenger play, meaning you're not going to see Spider-Man with Captain America, you're not going to see Spider-Man with Thor, with
Oh,
anybody
yeah.
like that.
He should have his own stuff.
They pulled him out of the multiverse because technically, in order for him to save the planet,
Yes.
he had to be forgotten.
Yes.
Because all of these villains were coming in. Like the rift was ripping, and when all the Spider-Mans came to kind of stop their villains,
Yeah.
villains from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they showed shadows of villains, like Easter eggs of like what is the name of that villain that the Fast and Fantastic Four has to fight?
Into your mind.
Sorry, what is the name of the villain?
Dr. Doom.
No. Another one.
Silver Surfer?
Silver Surfer had to fight him.
Galactus?
Galactus.
Oh,
the
yeah.
world, the guy who eats planets.
planets,
You
yeah.
see him coming in, and that's because it's all in a different universe.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's
Galactus is
sick.
coming in. The Rhino's coming in. Everybody.
I heard they were doing that, though, to bring in the X-Men.
They're trying to, because Morbius, the new Morbius movie, they're introduced. Morbius is part of Spider-Man's he's an anti-villain. Or
Anti-hero?
Anti-hero?
Morbius? Is he the dude with the fur?
No.
Who hunts people?
No,
that's the other guy.
Who's
Morbius?
He was in the Spider-Man cartoons. He was a vampire. He was a human that got turned into a vampire. I don't remember all of his backgrounds, but I remember the Punisher was hunting him in the cartoons a lot. And
The name sounds familiar. I can't put the face.
He bit Spider-Man and somehow injected Spider-Man, so Spider-Man turned into a spider monster at one point. Where he grew,
I remember
where
that
he
way
grew
back.
arms
Yeah, the
out of his
arms and
bodies
shit,
and
yeah.
shit like that. That was from Morbius's concoction.
Oh.
But Morbius he falls in love with some doctor and becomes an anti-hero.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's around the same time because he's a vampire that Blade's hunting him.
Yes, okay, I was going to say.
When they do the new Blade movie, they're going to twist off of Sony pulled Spider-Man or Tom Holland from the MCU to create their own spin-offs.
Yes.
And now at the end of this one, they did another spoiler where they're introducing Venom because they showed Tom Hardy in a separate universe.
Yeah.
Did you ever see...
I watched the first Venom.
Okay, but you didn't see the second one, Let There Be Carnage?
I know about it.
Yeah, so there's in that time frame, or in that universe, Spider-Man and Venom don't exist. They're not supposed to. And when he gets knowledge of him is because he gets introduced through Doctor Strange's spell. So he gets dropped off in Spider-Man's realm, starts kind of hunting for him because Venom wants to figure out who he is. And then when the spell gets reversed, crazy, right? So when the spell gets reversed, Venom goes back to his timeline where Spider-Man doesn't exist, but he
retains his memory.
No. A little piece of the embryo gets left on a bar.
Symbiote? The
symbiote gets left while he's talking to a bartender, and that's how they introduce the Venom symbiote into Spider-Man's timeline, because technically he's not supposed to be a part of it. It's the way they're...
Okay, I'll let it slide if they do it right.
I think that they will.
Because we all know Venom came from space.
And they were saying the reason why Venom knows Spider-Man is because he... at the end of Let There Be Carnage, Venom... sitting with Eddie Brock like in some kind of bed after they killed Carnage. He's sitting in some kind of bed with Eddie, and they're just kind of vegging out, saying they just want to be done with New York because New York wants to hunt them down. And he goes, Venom's telling Eddie Brock, he goes, you wouldn't be able to take a percentage of what symbiotes know from going through multiverses and space. And then Eddie Brock's like, show me. And he goes, all right, buckle in. And he smashes all this information in his head. He sleeps for 5 days. And in between that, the snap happens and all this other shit happens from Thanos' thing. And then Doctor Strange's spell loops him into that timeline. When he wakes up, he sees Spider-Man's present. This was before the most recent Spider-Man movie.
Intriguing.
So they smashed everything together.
Like I said, if they do it right,
they will.
I will like it. And it's funny because I was telling Lynn, I was like, how crazy is it that the best 2 movies of the past at least 2 years have been Spider-Man movies. Into the Spider-Verse absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it.
I never saw it. I'm sorry. I wanted to.
Wait, so after all the shit he's been giving me about the stuff I haven't seen,
I never saw it.
He hasn't seen in the.
I didn't want to watch I didn't want to watch a cartoon.
Okay. So to give you guys background, like I said, I'm an X-Men.
As I talk about cartoons,
I'm an X-Men fan.
Will you see that they're bringing X-Men back as was it Class of '94 or some shit like that?
Yeah, we'll see.
They want to do the OG.
We'll see.
Like the OG.
They
X-Men.
tried that.
They didn't.
They did.
That was first
Days
class.
of Futures Past.
That was X-Men first class. But they're doing it where they're all grown.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's supposed to be like the original.
We'll see, and that's what I mean. First of all, after the first movie, when we knew Hugh Jackman was the Wolverine,
you can't do anything with him anymore, though.
No, but see, my thing is, you guys should have utilized him so much more.
So let's say this. So, do you feel like there could ever be another Wolverine?
Of course, just like there'll be another Iron Man. Because we no longer have what's his name?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
So
they're switching over to Iron Heart, which is the female version of Iron Man.
Ugh, garbage.
I know.
That's like when they tried to do a spinoff for. They won't ever successfully do a Batman series, but there's a Batwoman series.
There's a Batwoman series, and then they had Gotham. Technically, it's not.
Gotham was
It was giving you kind of the players of Gotham City.
What was the main? It was the Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Gotham was good.
It was good, but it wasn't Batman.
They did Batwoman, and it was garbage.
It was garbage, and see, that's what I mean. Even with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was good, but I don't understand why the Falcon had to be fused with Captain America and all that nonsense. That was just stupid to me.
Yeah.
We have good original characters that you can build off of, and like I was saying before, if you want to do a movie, but have it do a standalone. That way, you can fit whatever narrative or whatever storyline you're trying to fit in that 1 to 2 hours.
They just don't have the time.
As opposed to trying to crunch decades worth of information.
They just don't have the time. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. As being a diehard fan, to wrap all
even
this
up.
To be a diehard fan or to be something that I really want to enjoy, I wish they would take the time to make it right. But then it's like a lot of people, present time, just don't have the patience to wait for it.
You don't, but okay, so last thing I'm going to say, so like Dragon Ball, how we had Dragon Ball Evolution.
Okay, that was garbage. That was trash.
Here's my thing. You could have easily, with their budget, cut out all the special effects. You could have cut out half the characters if you started with Goku.
I don't think you could even
if you focus on Dragon Ball. Because if you remember with Dragon Ball, there was no Ki Fires, Masenko's, Spirit Bombs. It was a Kamehameha here and there. Yeah. At best.
They could
all
definitely
they had to do was the World Martial Arts Tournament.
Yeah.
There was little to no energy blasts outside of, I think Piccolo may have done something.
Tien also did a couple key blasts and stuff like that.
And you have No, I'm talking about the original Dragon Ball.
Where was in it. He fought him in the tournament.
Oh yeah, he didn't have Jiaotsu yet though, did he? Did he have Jiaotsu?
No. But he fought him. He fought him in the martial arts tournament.
Right.
That was one of the main villains.
If you literally would have made that Dragon Ball Z movie, and just had them fighting at the world.
Yeah.
You don't need all the special effects. You don't need all the BS.
They don't know how to bring in.
Got away with
you
it.
know what the term weeb is? Yeah. They don't have weebs in the background telling them how to run it. They're networkers trying to make a profit.
So it falls on us. So we need to just make better movies. Okay,
give us more sponsors. We could probably do that. But yes, moving forward. To wrap it up, this was just a nostalgia thing to kind of go into it. We're again trying to grow, trying to make more things more presentable, but we also want to be relatable to everybody that is listening or watching at the same time. Going into the new year, hello everybody. Going into the new year, that's going to set up for new goals and new terms. Obviously, the consistency will start to revert back up because we're going to. Ooh, is there messages on this? What are the messages?
I don't.
Oh, never mind. I would send messages. Sorry, I'm looking at our patrons. Shout out to our patrons. Appreciate you all.
Love you guys.
As always.
By the way, pause before we go any further. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Those things.
Check out our Patreon. Check us out on Facebook. We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter. We haven't been there in a minute, but don't worry. We'll come do some house cleaning. We also have ProjectAirwaves.com.
We gotta get cobwebs out of that.
And Anchor.
Yes, thank you for that.
So just
Spotify,
Apple Music,
which is pretty intense. The fact is that we're not so consistent with what we used to do, just because life gets in the way.
Yes.
Good things for life.
But we still have a good following.
We have a good following.
Folks are still here.
The loyalty's still there. It's very much appreciated that people are still chiming in. We're still getting listens, not a whole lot of views, obviously, because we're not very presidential on YouTube. But it's still consistency. Which
I just think we haven't been around long enough.
We've been around. We're just the consistency is what makes it hard. We've been around for over a year now.
Yeah, but I mean, even consistency wise, we're still new to the platform. So we're going up against a bunch of other podcasts.
I'm gonna agree to disagree.
Yeah,
because I know people that are starting on the same time and they've cranked out more than us because they're doing
nuts.
What? Because of D's nuts?
D's nuts.
Well, you're just using words at this point.
D's nuts.
There's nothing logical about what you're saying.
I love lamb.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Buttered toast. Anyways,
that's my horse.
You got some new shit going on your on the back end for you. If you want to give them a little bit of taste of what it is.
While Lynn is working on his promotion at work, I'm trying to work on a life promotion. We got a side project going on. I haven't really done any cross
multiverse.
Yeah,
that's technically a multiverse switch.
What are we, Loki now?
I know.
I haven't really done any cross. I can't think of the word. Why is he like this? Like just advertising, I guess you could say, between the channels, because I want to make sure each channel has its own foot and foundation to stand on, and I don't want to make it look like I'm trying to do a huge cash grab or anything like that.
Correct.
These
nuts. Sorry, go ahead.
So while Lynn is working on his thing, I've been doing another project with my brother, working on cryptocurrency.
NFTs,
miners, NFTs, setting up websites, trading, staking, buying, selling, yada yada yada. It's called Moonboy Talk. Go ahead and check us out if you want to over there.
It's got a pretty good amount of following. Honestly,
we got a good viewership. My brother recently purchased some property out in Pahrump, so it was super cool. We've been doing a lot of recordings out there. Me and Lynn, come next year, we'll also be recording out there. So that's when I was really going to do a lot of kind of cross recording, so that way everybody is in on the same thing. Because as much as we want Project Airwaves to take off on YouTube, we also want our lives to take off in general. We want to give you guys good content as far as like videos, but we also want to give you good information to better your lives. We don't just, nothing's worse to me than having somebody give you a really good inspirational like talk, like like a upbeat, not upbeat, like a pep talk, and they have nothing to give you to do anything with it. I
definitely second on what he's saying. There's a lot of influencers that I follow. I hate the term influencers. Motivational speakers that I follow. Like one of them, Jocko Willink.
Oh yeah.
He I was just showing D about how you get guys, and you saw each episode that I was showing you how Jocko plays. He'll start off introducing himself, and then he'll read off of maybe a book that he was reading, just a few pages, not a few pages, like maybe a quarter of a chapter to explain. He'll talk about something and then explain details on why he feels like it's effective in somebody's day-to-day life. It's stuff like that, which reason why our following isn't as massive as most other crowds. We're not doing things for views to get people's attention. Where we're not doing TikToks and we're not doing Instagram stuff. We're not doing a lot of social media aspects to get people to like us, because we can try spicy things, or we can do a fucking, I don't know, a backflip off of a roof, or just a bunch of shit that's it's you know, clout,
it's not us.
Clout chasing. Like, we're not trying to chase clout. I me and him both believe we both are more or less. I've learned, especially with my position now, that I do teach defensive tactics, and I'm here teaching, you know, just new people. I'm a public speaker. I'm very good at public speaking, and I like to be able to affect people's lives. And from my experiences, I want to be able to share things with people to better their lives.
Right.
Or at least through my experiences, the shit that I've gone through, so they don't struggle the way that I did. Same thing with D. He has a very, very caring, inspirational, motivational perspective to where there's little to no pessimism coming from him. I could be saying the most negative shits, the most negative stuff imaginable on the worst days, and he'll be one of the people that'll kind of talk me out of it. Like, look, this is what we're going to do. This is why this is going to change. This is why it's going to get better. So we may have differences in our daily lives and our communications, but we both think on the same page of we're here to show value to a community of anybody, even if it's only a couple people here and there, just to kind of give you the insights of, like, you know what, at the end of the day, do better, be mentally exhausted, but be motivationally driven. Make sure that you're taking care of others, not just yourself.
Yes, because what it boils down to is, you know, like, I had a small, tiny little channel before me and Lynn started this, where I was trying to make motivational videos, and it was cool and it sounded great, but then at the end of the day, it was like, but what am I really giving these people? I'm telling you things to, you know, reaffirm stuff that you may already know, but I'm not actually giving you anything useful. With what I'm working on, what me and Lynn are working on, is, especially with this cryptocurrency and investing and finding new ways to make money, is giving you folks something you can not only apply to yourselves, you can give to your friends and family, and everybody wins. It's not just that was a really great pep talk. I think I'm going to go be positive today. No, I want to teach you not to sound like one of these, you know, chads out there. I want to teach you how to make money, and a good amount of money, to where either you can be self-employed, self-sufficient, or you don't have to work as hard at a dead-end job like we have been, you know, before you figure out that life can be better than just, you know, hoping somebody will come and save you, or hoping, you know, that perfect promotion will fall from the sky, hoping you get paid enough that you can handle your bills and have some money left over to have fun with. This is full-blown, you're doing it yourself on your own merit. You make as much money as you want to make. You make as little money as you want to make. But I want to make sure I'm coming to you folks with facts and numbers. I don't want to just sit here and give you theories and speculate on things that may or may not happen. So that's why I've been kind of low-key about a lot of it, because I'm going to bring Lynn in on it too as far as the investing. But I don't want to bring him in, you know, be like, hey, bro, I need you to take your whole life savings, invest in this, and we'll see what happens. No, hey, I've been investing in this. It's been 2, 3, 4 years. I've been getting this type of revenue. I've been getting this kind of an income.
It's a good combination of everything that he's gaining on the outskirts of this town. Like when he was mentioning Moonboy Talk and the location that they're doing it out, it's not even in Vegas.
It's in Pahrump. It's beautiful.
But with everything else that he's working on when it comes to NFTs and cryptocurrencies, not a lot of people know that shit.
Yeah.
And to have that trial and error through someone that's trying relatively something new, it helps. You're getting the outside aspect of everything from D, and then from me, you're getting everything that's inside the city. I work corporate security in one of the biggest.
You're kind of like Spiderman.
No,
don't take pictures.
No. I work corporate security in one of the biggest franchises in the country, let alone just the Strip. I mean, MGMRI owns 90% of the Strip. Yes. So the survival aspect of it, of the day-to-day that not other people know about, I've already been through it. I've experienced every possible scenario that you can run from just a basic report to life and death CPR to an active shooter to an explosion to poisoning to drowning to fights to domestics. I've seen it all.
That's what we want to see.
I've seen it all, but coming from my end, it means that I have experience to talk about this stuff. So maybe if I put something out there one day, you might refer to like, oh shit, he talked about this.
Yes.
I'm going through it like a domestic violence case. If someone goes through it for the first time and maybe they listen to this episode and find out at the end of the day, it may be the worst time of your life because it's happening right then and there, but you're going to get through it.
You'll get through it,
because I've seen it in person.
Yes.
I've dealt with it, and
Yes.
I ended up getting through it.
Yes.
So it's not end all be all. So
Yeah.
a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
Yeah.
You put it together, you put it on a meal, it makes the meal nice and
That's
crispy.
racist.
And that's not racist. Oh, because you're pepper. I'm salty. But all right, I'm done. I'm finished.
That's
Let's
our plan for, or one of our various plans for 2022.
Yes, it's an add-on to an already.
So we got our overthinking it sessions. We got our main podcast. We're going to start talking about investing in the cryptocurrency, stock, and
the
trade.
interviews are coming. I know you only got to get one to come through, but
look,
it's happening.
You want an interview?
Yes,
you will get an interview.
It'll come
with these nuts.
That's disgusting. No, this isn't casting couch.
Share, subscribe.
You can't do that. Wrap it up.
What you got going on for Christmas?
It sounds weird, but I'm going over my dad's, and we're making tamales.
Look,
it's like old fashioned like tamales. Like,
look, bro.
Yeah, beef.
I'm gonna be that guy. We have a lot to be thankful for. Because I mean, there's some people who won't get to have tamales.
I used to think of it as a chore when I was a kid, but I was just over at my dad's house for my brother's birthday, and when he was talking about it, saying he needed help to make them because they had a whole bunch of masa and a whole bunch of meat and everything like that to make the tamales, I got pretty excited. It's just the camaraderie of knowing that as you get older, you start to really not. You start to realize that you took for granted the things that you enjoyed. When I went back home to Ohio for Thanksgiving, seeing my grandparents and seeing my friends that are all married with kids and doing their own shit now, I grew up with these people.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I took it all for granted because it was just like, oh,
that was your normal.
That was my normality. Not getting to go there for a long time and come there and seeing things change, seeing my grandparents get older, which scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's intense.
Seeing, having my brother be 22 now and being able to actually go out and drink and actually have a good time. Having like a co-partner to go to the gym with, go drink with, go do stuff. It's like things are changing. He just turned 22, and then we're all doing tamales and doing Christmas over at my dad's, and it's like I'm thankful for it. I'm trying to be very optimistic for some things that a lot of people just don't have.
Well, we're taking over. We're at that transition state where we were the new generation. Mm-hmm. Now we're becoming the old generation. We're taking over where our parents left off.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So it's crazy how, like you said, Noah, I remember like it was yesterday spending the night at Lynn's house, going out to get a glass of water or something and stepping on one of Noah's Legos.
The fucking Legos like they were landmines.
Taking a chunk out of my foot, and just like going to Brian Head, you know what I mean? Going quadding and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just crazy how now reflecting back on Christmases past, it's like, wow, not only have we come a long way, but how everything has changed. We thought things were going to stay the same forever.
Yeah, that's true. You're seeing
changed.
more and more change. I'm starting to become more like, I don't know if you ever watched that episode of South Park where Stan, he's aging.
Oh, he grows up?
He's aging and something's happening to where everything sounds, tastes, and smells like shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Where it's like he's listening to a radio station. He wakes up, he's like, all right, for the 9:30 morning news, you've got so-and-so. And it's just, it's like, so everything he hears sounds like shit. He looks at food. He pours a bowl of cereal, and so there's shit going into a bowl. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I notice it's like, I don't know if it's like, when I go to experience something that I'd experienced a while back, and then I always get mixed feelings. Like, I get excited to go have dinner somewhere, or go do something, and then when I go have it again a couple years down the road, or just recently, I'm like, this is shit.
It's different.
This is garbage. And I'm like, oh God, I'm like, South Park's starting to make sense.
Right, and that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to start getting into investing and becoming self-employed, is because things aren't fun because you have to come back to reality.
You're coming back to reality. You're reliving and redoing the same.
I love Chili's. I love Olive Garden.
But
go out.
You can't go there
but
now,
I paid for it. And then we get in the car and it's like, oh yeah, shit, I got work tomorrow. Yeah. I got to be up at 4 a.m. Stuff like that. So it's like, I want things to be fun again. But the only way things can be fun is if we don't have to worry about waking up, going to a 9 to 5. Oh no, I didn't go to work today. I'm fired. Oh no, a benefits blah. So that's where that mindset has come from. I want us to have fun again and go on adventures. And like one of these days, I want us to do a podcast at the top of a mountain. It can be done. We just need time to plan stuff and a little bit of resources.
It's fucking terrifying.
It is, but it would be great. You know what I mean? Like, you got to
be able to get the time to travel. I can take the time to travel. You got to be able to get that time to travel.
Can eat.
No, I'd rather not, but thanks. Wrapping this up.
Yep.
We're already pretty deep in.
It's really cool with, how everything's just been developing, even though we're still, like I said, new kids to the block. Project Airwaves, no, it's not shooting for the moon per se, but we got down the street. So it's just really nice that we're still here. You folks are still listening, and we're still making episodes. So that means we must be doing something right. So thank you all so much for your prolonged exposure to our radioactivity, because we know it hurts and it burns. You might have grown a third arm, but we are still here. So if you didn't catch it the first time, I'm going to say it again.
Oh, no, we're doing
Don't
this.
forget, like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your side
My name is
chick.
Jeff.
Tell them, my name's Jeff.
My name is Jeff. Sorry.
Don't forget,
AD's kicking in.
check us out on Facebook. Also, we have a Patreon. If you want to do a one-time,
Venmo.
donation, we have our merch store. We have Venmo. We have PayPal. We have so many ways for you to give us your money. Please and thank you. We love you. So, if you're new to the show, we have an ending we like to do. If you've been a fan of the show, please prepare to do the ending with us. I'm going to give you some time. 3, 2, 1. Keep your head in the clouds.
Keep your feet on the ground, always moving forward.
Buy new shoes, because that tread wears out after a while. I just went hiking. I busted my ankle, so you want to make sure you have good ankle support.
Weak.
Not arch support, because Lynn has got bad feet and everything.
What?
So
Don't share my medical degrees.
You
Get
did
outta here.
good.
You did real good.